All right. What's going on, everybody? Today we're back with the players that we love at ADP this year for the running back and the tight end position. I'm Trey here with Spencer, Evan, and Nick. And let's get right into who we like this year. All right.
Sir.
First off, who we got? Kenneth Gainwell. Spence, go ahead.
Kenny G. A bit biased because I'm an Eagles fan. I always loved him on the Eagles, but last year he joined the Steelers in a 1 year deal, joining the backfield with Jalen Warren and Caleb Johnson. Obviously, Caleb Johnson was nothing, but Kenny G started off the season a little slow, but then really hit a stride once he kind of got worked into the offense. I mean, from weeks 11 through 18 last year, he was RB7 in fantasy points per game. First in receiving yards per game, fourth in yards per route run. He's an amazing receiving back. You got Aaron Rodgers, who's gonna check it down, or I'm sorry, not Aaron Rodgers, check it down. Baker Mayfield, and so just I love his value. Finished RB16 last year, which I think is just insane. Yeah, Bucky's on that offense, but Bucky was hurt a lot. Even with Bucky there, we saw a lot of Rashad White in the first year, and so I think just Kent was primed to take over a lot of the spots. I mean, right now in PPR leagues, he's getting taken at pick 111, RB36 off the board, and I think he can easily finish again as an RB2. I think just the value is there. Plus, you've heard kind of great news. Baker Mayfield was just outstanding, saying he's outstanding. Unbelieved over how much talent Kenneth Gainwell has. And when you're starting QB's got that much praise for you, you bet destined to trust him with the ball. He's a great pass blocking back, which is huge. So I just see him taking over about almost 50-50 split with Bucky Irving. They've been very public about it being a 1A, 1B, and just I think the value's all there. I think, again, you're taking him at RB36 all the way to pick 111 in like the eighth, ninth round, when he could really be a high end RB2 option with at worst a flex play. He's just, I think, the best value in almost all the drafts. I think the talent's just off the marks, and he's going to prove it again this year.
Yeah, I think they brought him in for a reason, right? Bucky, I don't think was cutting it in the air for them, so I think they tried to bring in a true, more pass catching receiver for them. Um, and a little spoiler to our video later on is that, we don't really love Bucky as a group. But I think Gainwell in general, he looked great last year, which is surprising. That's why I threw up his stats from last year, his game logs, because, he doesn't have any season stats hiding behind Saquon Barkley in the Eagles offense most of his career. Um, but yeah, Ev, Nick.
I mean that's that week 11 through 18 is just so surprising to see because I mean he only ended up with 500 yards, but he had 70 something catches. So if he gets that Rashad White role on the Bucks and hopefully an even larger role based on what they're saying, yeah. And if Bucky went down, then the sky's the limit.
The crazy thing was
Yeah,
on
I
the
mean,
right side too. Sorry to cut you off, Nick. The right
you're
side,
good.
that's his snap share. You can see most of these games he was doing this with roughly a 50% snap share, which is insane. Sorry, go ahead.
No, you're good. No, I was gonna go off of what Evan was saying. I mean, listen, Rashad White was their receiving back for so long, and they were okay with letting him go and then bringing in someone who's even better with that. And again, like you just said, with the 50-50 snap share. As a Bucky owner, it does suck, but Kenneth Gainwell is so good in the air, and also with Mecca Buka already dealing with an injury, we have no clue how long that's going to linger. Mike Evans, leaving that offense, getting a ton of targets. That's just so much more targets open up in that offense. I do think the Bucks are going to be down in more games than people do think. I don't think their defense is as good as people project, so I think they're going to have to air the ball out a lot more, giving him a lot of opportunity for that. So for his ADP, I mean, you kind of can't beat it. You look at the people around him, and there's just a lot more value picking him than some of the other guys that go right near him.
Yeah.
All right, well, let's move on to our next player here. Next up, we got J.K. Dobbins. This was Colin's pick, who's unfortunately not able to make it tonight, but I think all of us as a group collectively like J.K. Dobbins. We like this Broncos backfield in general. Broncos have a top five offensive unit or offensive line unit in the league, as well as a pretty good defense. So the thought is hopefully they're up in more games than not, and they can lean on the run. And he's going pretty late as well. He's only going a few picks higher than where Gainwell was, going at RB35. And he could be, the first down running back. He could be the red zone hitter. The only big issue is you have to worry about the injury, but I think that's already so much baked into his price going down here all the way at RB35.
Yeah. I think he's going to be the leader of that backfield. I mean, they drafted a fourth round rookie in Coleman, and RJ Harvey just isn't that good as a rusher versus a pass catcher. So in a best ball format, especially, I mean, he could have weeks with 3 touchdowns pretty easily, if he's getting the majority of the carries in this backfield, which I think he should be.
Yeah, I mean, he
Yeah, I mean,
was in
go ahead,
weeks
Spence.
one through 10, he was RB 24 before he got injured, and obviously the injury concern is there. Only worry there is doesn't get a lot of targets. Only had like 1.4 targets per game. So
Yeah,
maybe that comes up a little bit, but like
definitely a better half PPR,
behind
non PPR guy.
Yeah.
yeah, behind a good
Yeah.
line though, it doesn't hurt. I mean, it's super safe running back that is just gonna he's bound to get points.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, guys
I
going next
completely
to him,
agree.
it's Chuba. Like Chuba's in a way worse offense.
Yeah.
Might not even get that much more work. And I think they're similar level players.
Yeah, Blake Corum's got that got Kyron in front of him. They
Yeah.
might
I don't,
like
Listen, you can get J.K. Dobbins even below R.J. Harvey, like a few picks after. And before he got injured, I mean, he was averaging almost 15 yards. I mean, not 15 yards, 15 carries per game, which in a Broncos offense that can score and be in the red zone a lot, like that's huge. Like, you know, he's going to get the touchdown value. I mean, last year, well, funny enough, he actually only had 4 touchdowns, but honestly, I think he's easily going to beat that out if he can at least stay healthy at least the majority of the season. Again, like he'll easily crush his ADP. I don't think Harvey is really meant for all of that heavy work, which my pick Rico Dowdle, I'm going to get in a little bit about Jalen Warren in that same aspect of how RJ Harvey is, but I just think he'll be getting a lot of the bulk of the carries. Obviously, you bring in Jalen Waddle to stretch that offense down the field. Might not have to load the box as much this year to give him some more running lane.
all right. And moving on to our next player. Next up, we got Chase Brown.
Chase Brown. Chase Brown, despite being a smaller name than those guys he goes around, um, just his position in fantasy is so good and so safe. Um, he was a beast in the second half of last year. I think he was averaging 20 points per game once Burrow was back. So if we see a season of him with healthy Burrow for a whole season, he's going to be top 5. There's not really a doubt in my mind. There is no competition. The RB2 is Taj Brooks, maybe Samaje Perine. Those guys have never been drafted in underdog, not even once. The expectation is he's seeing 80% of the snaps, catching a ton of passes. And just based on who he's going around, there's a lot more question marks with these other players. I mean, Kenneth has an injury history. Chase Brown really doesn't. I think he missed some games his first year. No, I think he didn't. He just didn't play until later in the year. Um, Genti could be in a bad offense. Hampton, we don't know how much work like Keaton Mitchell and Vidal are going to get. Some reports are saying that it's going to be more 3-headed than we think it will be. And Chase Brown, there's just really no question marks. He might not be as good in real life as some of these other guys, but in fantasy, he's the obvious pick in this range for me. I think I'd take James Cook and Genti over him just for upside, but that's it.
I mean, Chase Brown finished RB 7 from week 7 onward and averaged 20.6 points and half PPR, let alone not full PPR, when Joe Burrow returned from weeks 13 through 17. So, I mean, he's just going to get a crap ton of receptions. I mean, I think the 1 week he had like 14 targets. And he's just going to get a crap ton of receptions. He's going to get the main goal line work. He's going to be in a top offense. I mean, it's just like everything points up for a super high floor, and then he could have some boom weeks. So it's just, I think, just over the other guys around him, it's just like it's the most safe pick, and you get the upside without any of the question marks of other backs in the backfield.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
completely agree. I mean, even with Joe Burrow going down, I mean, he had almost 90 targets out of the backfield, and again, with absolutely no competition. I mean, in a full PPR league, he's going to eat up rather than a guy like Derrick Henry. Obviously, we know how good he is, but he just doesn't catch many passes out of the backfield. With in a full PPR league, like that's what you need. That's where a bulk of your points are coming from. And funny enough, throughout his whole season, he only had 6 rushing touchdowns, which honestly is really shocking to me for how good that offense is and is going to be with Joe Burrow there. And again, you have no other running back in the backfield that is going to line up at that goal line and take that snap. He is going
Mhm.
to, I would not be shocked if he's on the field 75 to 85% of snaps. Like he is easily going to blow out his ADP, especially with the guys that are around him right now.
Yeah, I agree with everything you guys are saying. I think one more thing that's very important to note is that what we said before with other guys is this is a contract year for him. And teams
Mm.
like to run the running back into
Hmm.
the ground in their contract year, give him a ton of carries, give him a ton of catches. And, maybe they'll pay him next year, depending on how he lasts this year, maybe not. But again, usually teams like to really hammer home that running back in their contract year.
I even think he's better in real life than people give him credit for. Like if he swapped to another team, I don't think it'd be
Yeah.
like the end for his value. But I mean, who cares for a redraft?
Talking about this year, yeah.
Yeah.
All right. And moving along to our next guy here. Next up, we got Jadarian Price. This was my pick. Drafted 32nd overall to the Seattle Seahawks this year, back in April. And just the main thing that I want to talk about with Price is that he's going at, I would say, the bottom of the tier. He's like the last, I would say, safer running back in a tier that has a lot of question marks between Tootin, Judkins, Bucky, Henderson, and even on the right side is a sleeper ADP, Montgomery and Swift. I think like that whole tier. I feel like you're getting him so much later than those other guys, and he's like just as good as those guys. Like even on Sleeper, he's going 10 picks late or 8 picks later than he is on Underdog, and he's going 11 picks later than Tootin and like almost 20 picks later than David Montgomery. I would rather take the guy in the better offense, just me. And I think the bigger, like going down to Jalen Warren, to Stevenson, Pollard, Chuba, it's a big tier drop off for me. And another like set of stats I wanted to bring up here is I found this from Football Guys, and they broke down the last 10 years, all the running backs that were drafted. There's a total of 224 of them, right? Up in the top left corner, you can see 14 running backs were drafted in the first round. And in their rookie season, 85% of them produced as a top 36 back. Now, an RB3 is not amazing. But the big number that I think is important to see is 71% of these guys drafted in the first round of the NFL draft became top 24 backs in their rookie year. And here's your ADP. You're drafting him at running back 26. So you already have a 70% chance of increasing your investment. And then an even bigger number off of that is all the way on the right. 50% of these running backs drafted in the first round return as a top 12 running back in their first year. So if we have a 50, theoretically a 50% shot of getting an RB1 all the way down here, running back 26, I think it's worth a shot. And now I know a lot of you guys are going to say, oh, well, there was a lot of running backs drafted super high, such as Bijan Robinson, such as Ezekiel Elliott, such as Saquon Barkley. All these guys drafted super high. Yes, you're correct. But I think there's a big difference between getting drafted in the first round versus getting drafted in the high second round. If he was drafted just one pick later, a team would be able to pay him less, first of all, which that big jump up in money is reason enough for them to give him more carries, as well as over his tenure with the Seahawks, they now have the option to give him a fifth year if he does well enough for them. Whereas if he was drafted in the second round, they wouldn't have that option. So I think with those two things alone, like just getting drafted instead of in the early second, such as guys like Brees Hall or Jonathan Taylor, they have to pay them earlier. Whereas Shadarian Price, they can pay that fifth year option first. And I think that overall, just they paid such a significant investment in him, and with these numbers to back it up, I think it's just a very reasonable price to go for it and try to go for this guy. What do you
Yeah,
guys think?
especially in a format where you can have him in that early season before Zach Charbonnet comes back. I mean, his value is going to shoot through the roof. Just there's no competition. George Holani and I
Emmanuel
don't know,
Wilson.
Emmanuel Wilson.
Emmanuel Wilson. Yep.
Too. Yeah.
My
I was
biggest
literally
worry
just
there
going to go
is
off of that.
My biggest worry would just be Charbonnet. I mean, I don't know if he's going to get the line share again when he comes back because somehow he did. And so if he comes back kind of by like say week 8, I'd be a little bit worried for Jadarian Price's postseason value. But I think early season, if you can make the most of it and then even possibly trade away when his value is super high, I could see it.
That is true. I hear you with that. Charbonnet might steal some touchdowns later in the year. However, it is also important to note that there's another new offensive coordinator coming in this year, and nobody that's tied down to Zach Charbonnet, whereas he actually had a choice in trying to bring in Jadarian Price.
I will say the worry with Jadarian Price is his lack of receiving work. He was actually like one of the worst receiving backs in college. So that's where I could see those other schmuck backs make steal some fancy points there.
Hmm.
Yeah.
In all honesty, I don't really think it's going to be much of a worry. I think that this Seattle team, obviously coming off of a Super Bowl, obviously there's a Super Bowl hangover that a lot of two teams do get, and that definitely is a possibility. But I see the Seahawks leading in a majority of their games where they don't really have to throw as often. And with the Seahawks, again, I think they're going to be one of the best teams in their division and clinch a playoff spot early. There's no reason to rush Charbonnet back, especially coming off of a knee injury. So they might let him just relax a little bit, rest a little bit more, and try and ramp him up for the playoffs. And that would be incredible for Jadarian Price to, get the full workload almost all season up until the fantasy playoffs. I mean, even if Charbonnet comes back like round one, round two, I mean, like what is he going to get, like 20, 30% usage? I mean, you're still getting an insane value for such a low draft pick. I don't know exactly where in drafts he's going, like round wise, but I mean, again, the guys around him, Jalen Warren, Chuba Hubbard, RJ Harvey, they have competition in their backfield, no, not like a solidified number one back. I mean, it's kind of hard to pass them up at that value.
Can't believe we were getting him like 2 rounds later a couple of months ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Very true. He was going to be behind Tony Pollard at one point.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
All right, our next guy here, we got Rico Dowdle.
Rico.
Let's go. That's my guy. Obviously, as a former Cowboys fan, I got to show some love to Rico Dowdle for what he's been able to do. Listen to this. So I'm going to go off of Jalen Warren a little bit first. So he ended his season with 958 rushing yards. Again, the Steelers' offense also is not as good last year. Rico Dowdle in 3 games was able to put up 206, 183, and 130 yards. That is almost half of Jalen Warren's all-season rushing in 3 games. You're telling me he's not going to come into this offense and immediately dominate all those carries? I mean, even splitting with Chuba a little bit, he still had almost 240 carries. You're getting Kenneth Gainwell out of that backfield now. That I think the most vacated targets out of any running back position in the league. He's jumping in, and he can catch passes out of the backfield too. Listen, he had 50 targets last year compared to Jalen Warren's 45, which I don't think people really realize that Jalen Warren really did not get a lot of receiving work either. Rico is the bigger back. He's the better back in my personal opinion, and you can get him even later than Jalen Warren. I just like this is a slam dunk for me. I don't see how you don't take him at this price. Believe running back 32 he is, and Jalen Warren is running back 26. It really does not make sense to me how he's going later than Jalen Warren in drafts.
Yeah, I agree. Another thing that I mentioned back when I was talking about Michael Pittman, why I love him so much, we have a new offensive coordinator. We have Mike McCarthy in here, and I think it's just going to lead to an overall better offense now. They're not going to be a top 10 offense. We're hoping to be an average offense at best, but that's better than the bottom 10 that they've been recently. And I think, like I was saying with Price, this new offensive coordinator, he's not tied down to Jalen Warren as Mike Tomlin was, such as.
Yeah, we saw how McCarthy used Dowdle on the Cowboys. He was getting at least 50% of the snaps, probably closer to 60. And just what he's done on the Cowboys and then on the Panthers in the last 2 years is a lot more impressive than what I've seen from Jalen Warren. I don't think, obviously, that the Panthers are a bit of a better offense last year, but not by much. They're pretty similar. I think he's better than Warren. And if he gets the work, he could be great.
I think the offense being so poor is a worry. And I think he needs to get the receiving work because Jalen Warren, while I didn't get the receiving work last year as much, is a talented receiving back. And I think that was probably product to just Kenneth Gainwell being that much better than him. I will say that the 3 amazing games were very, very good, but they were also against Miami, Dallas, and the Jets defense. So not the best defenses that he went up against. And so it's like, I think maybe it was a little bit inflated from last year. But I think he's pretty talented. He runs hard, and I just think if he can get the touchdowns, he's there. I just worry about the Steelers' offense just being a little lackluster again with Aaron Rodgers. But you never know. Maybe new offensive coordinator. Maybe Arthur Smith not being an idiot helps.
True. I just got to watch the Steelers play the Jets in preseason and get shut out 0-17 against the second and third string. So maybe Rodgers can save them, but don't count on Howard or Aller.
Drew Aller's the truth.
These guys are not the fucking truth. The lies.
All right. Let's move over to tight ends now. First up, we got Dallas Goedert.
Yeah, Dallas Goddard. A little bit of bias here as an Eagles fan, of course, but I just think Goddard is a great value in drafts. I mean, biggest thing with the Eagles offense, I think, is the leaving of AJ Brown. He took a lot of receiving touchdowns. Goddard's been with the team, I think, what, 8 years now. Got a lot of rapport with uh, Jalen Hurts. Yes, I think there is the touchdown regression we will see. I know a lot of people are quick to call that out. But last year he finished tight end 6. He's projected at tight end 13 right now. And I just think he's going to be doing a lot better than guys like Likely or Ferguson, even Kelsey. And there's a lot of guys out there I'm not really sure about. I'm a big guy this year. I think just the leaving of AJ Brown, a lot of targets and a lot of trust there. Yeah.
Yeah, full transparency, I'm also an Eagles fan, but we have not seen this guy score less than a top 12 tight end in points per game in his 8 season career. And we're drafting him at
That
tight
is
end 15
crazy.
right now. Like this is ridiculous.
Yeah, with
You're
all
there
the open targets.
you will not catch me dead drafting Isaiah Likely or Dalton Kincaid over Dallas Goddard. Like there's just no
Yeah.
way. Um, like you said, also AJ Brown leaving all these targets, and Mekhi Lemon is already injured to start the year. I don't know how you can't be in on Dallas Goddard at this price tag specifically.
Have you got anything
Especially
to add
best
before I
ball.
go?
What
No,
say,
no.
Nick?
I mean,
All right,
it's
cool.
it's simple as that.
I read a stat that when AJ Brown doesn't play, Dallas Goddard is averaging almost 16 points a game. That is second overall from tight ends, and you're getting them 13 players after it. Pick 15. Again, as a Cowboys fan, it hates me to say and hype up the Eagles like that, but like it's gonna be at least a pretty good offense this year with how bad Jalen Hurts is still. No, I'm just kidding. He's not even that bad. I just like throwing shots at him. But we know that Dallas Goddard is an absolute touchdown hog. They've been using him for little passes in the red zone all season last year, and as much as it made me super upset that they're not giving the ball to Barkley or they're not pushing Jalen Hurts' tush, like they love giving Goddard the ball, and they're going to continue to keep doing that, especially with AJ Brown not there as that deep threat or the red zone target anymore.
Yeah, I mean, who would you rather have, Dallas Goddard or Rashad White, Mekhi Lemon, or Jaden Reed, all
Yeah,
going around him?
exactly.
It's just like,
Yeah.
even as a tight end 2 option, he's phenomenal. If you take him
Lemon
as your
goes there,
second
huh?
option, yeah, Lemon's dropped because of his injury.
Oh yeah,
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 injury.
yeah. With the injury, I'd just take Goddard.
I mean,
All
Goddard
right.
and Sleeper is going 124. That's crazy.
Yeah. All right, next up we got Travis Kelce.
I mean, this guy has been in the league for 11 seasons. 11. He has not finished below tight end 10 ever. Ever. He never has. He has always been a top 10 tight end. And you're say the same thing for Goddard. He's going at tight end 11. It just does not make sense to me, especially with not having Patrick Mahomes for a good bit of last season. Rashid Rice, honestly, if you've been watching him at camp, he looks sluggish. He does not look good, and he does not look ready to come back. Kenneth Walker coming into that offense does worry me a little bit about them running the ball a lot more than they have been in the past, but this is someone who is solidified in the league, a future first ballot Hall of Famer who is still able to do it, although he doesn't look as good as he is anymore. That connection with Patrick Mahomes is still insanely deadly, and they know how to get it done. They know how to win football games, and he knows how to find the end zone. I mean, I don't see how he doesn't smash his value and at least be a top 6 or 8 tight end this year.
The only big knock on him for me is that he wasn't very good when Rashi Rice was there for those games last year. So the only thing worries me is if they decide to give a lot of the check down and short work to Rashi. But I mean, you're getting him. Kincaid is going higher than him now in underdog.
Yeah,
That ADP is a
laughable.
little bit outdated.
Jeez, I didn't
Kincaid is
wow.
just going to be second
Laughable.
fiddle to Dawson Knox again.
Yeah,
Yeah, you're right.
dude, this is insane. Like the only other thing I can think about is that he's old, like dude, but he's still kicking it. He's probably got 1 or 2 more years left in the tank. But another thing that I am just trying to buy low in general on the Chiefs offense, because one thing that I love is that they brought back Eric Bieniemy as their offensive coordinator, an offensive coordinator that has produced multiple tight end 1 seasons for Travis Kelce in the past. Now, I'm not saying he's going to be tight end 1. However, again, how is he not smashing this ADP?
Yeah,
Spence,
very
anything to
safe
add?
pick.
No, I just worry about the age a little bit, the injuries, but other than that, I think he's just bound to do it good again.
No,
He's
I mean,
got the best connection.
Would you guys take him over
listen,
Kittle though?
No,
yes, yes,
I think I would
I
take
would.
Kittle.
I personally would, just with the injury, with the injury he's coming back from. Like, you have no clue how he's going to look when he comes back. I personally would.
Dude,
And
Michael
Spence,
Pittman.
going off of like injuries in his 11 seasons in the NFL, how many games? Like, take a guess. How many games do you think he's actually missed
You can look
in
at it
not a
right
11
lot,
there.
not
seasons?
a lot.
Yeah, you can see it
One,
right here. He's
two,
played 15 games. He's played 15
3.
games in at least in every year.
He's always
Yeah,
healthy. He's
Yeah.
always available. Taylor Swift is helping him off the field. It's going to help him on the field. That's all I'm going to say.
fair enough.
Mullen.
All right, let's move along to the next guy. Next up, we got Tyler Warren. This guy's my pick. Coming off a pretty stellar rookie year, I would say. He might have lost some hype because Colston Loveland was the better rookie. Okay, I hear you. On the right side of the screen here, I show you his game log, cutting off everything after week 14 because that is when Daniel Jones got injured. With Daniel Jones in these first 13 weeks, he produced, what was that, one, two, three, four, five, six, seven tight end one finishes, only going up with three of those being a top three finish. And honestly, I don't see it getting much worse. He only had two games outside of the top 15 tight ends, which is really not much to ask. And being a second year guy, I expect him to get better. Being that Daniel Jones is partially injured, he's not going to run as much. They're going to try to use Tyler Warren in those ways, in as many ways as possible. As well as we said earlier, Michael Pittman leaving the offense is a big thing. Now they do bring in Keenan Allen, but I believe that this hurts more Josh Downs than it does hurt Tyler Warren. Tyler Warren, they spent the draft capital on him. They're going to utilize him. And I understand that Colston Loveland is in a better offense, but I don't see how you can take Tyler Warren 20 picks later than Colston Loveland. I think that gap has to be close, has to be a lot closer. And that's just my opinion. I don't know about what you guys think, but
Yeah, I think a lot of people have Coast Loveland. There's like that idea that he could turn into a Brock Bowers or a Trey McBride. And I think the only other tight end with that potential is Warren. Um, Kraft got close last year, I guess, for some of his games, but coming off the ACL is scary. But Warren, I mean, if he breaks out, he could get much better going into year two. He could be a different player. And with so many targets open that offense, even Alec Pierce might be missing time, which doesn't help him a lot, but targets is targets.
Hmm.
I think they're going to have to check down. Daniel Jones can't run as much, like you said. Hmm. He is a great pick here. He's a great pick where he's going. And I wouldn't take him over Loveland, but I would be fine reaching 10 picks on him.
yeah, like I said, I don't think you should take him over Loveland. I understand that Loveland's in a better offense, but I don't think, again, like I said, I don't think there should be a 20 pick difference between the two of them. Like,
Hmm.
Yeah. Ever since Daniel Jones went down, he had 5 receptions, three, two, three, three, five, five. He did not have over 5 receptions in a game, 7 straight weeks, and only had one touchdown. I just think having Daniel Jones back, even if he's not as versatile as he was, he'll be in that pocket more. He's not going to want to scramble around in the pocket a lot. Tyler Warren's his safety blanket. And again, Keenan Allen coming in is a little bit of a worry, but again, you look at Michael Pittman, all those targets are gone. Alec Pierce, we have no clue what he's going to look like when he's coming back. I mean, he's still on the sidelines, still working with trainers. We have no clue what he's going to look like. And the talent is clearly there. He just needs the quarterback to get the ball to him. And old man Philip Rivers, he just was not able to do that. But obviously, you didn't really expect much from him. But I think Daniel Jones is going to really elevate this offense a lot. Again, I don't think the Colts have a very good defense at all, so they're going to be behind a lot. Going to have to throw the ball. Yeah, he's going to be the one to do it.
Yeah, I think people forget that he was the first. He was the top ranked tight end. He wasn't the first taken off the board, but for a reason. I think just talent wise, he's all there, and he's going to be on the field all the time. I mean, he's 85% snap share. It's just I'm a huge fan of Tyler Warren's talent. Penn State fan as well, so biasy there. But I mean, they used him all over the field for a reason.
yeah, one other thing I did want to mention is that I know he's dealing with a minor injury at the moment. I just wanted to say that I really don't think that this is a big deal, and I feel like he's definitely going to be ready for week one with lower injury risk. So
It's just a groin injury, and they said he might miss 1 week.
yeah, like
It's not a
that's
big
fine.
issue.
Rest him for preseason. He'll be ready to go week 1. I'll mind the dip. All right. Who do we got next up on the board here? We got George Kittle.
Okay. I guess I'll talk about him. This wasn't my pick,
Yeah, this
but
was
I
That was
do like
Collins.
Kittle. This was our other analyst's pick. Um, but I mean, Kittle, he just got activated, which is crazy for being what, 32
Yeah,
and coming off an
covers a
ACL
torn
tear.
ACL already.
Didn't
But
expect it this quick.
we know he's a beast. He's an animal. He's like the white Derrick Henry. Um, I'm not surprised he's back. And you see the resume. Him and Kelsey have been doing this shit for years. Um, Kittle looked a lot better than Kelsey did last year when he was healthy and playing. He looked great last year when he was healthy and playing. And they have, I guess, more open targets. They got Mike Evans there now, but
He's dealing with an injury, man.
he's dealing with
You
an
have no
injury.
clue
He
what
could be
Mike Evans
gone
is going to come back
easily.
looking like.
Slicky
Mike,
Ricky's
my
gone.
hamstring
Yep.
hurts.
Slicky Ricky is in the shadow realm.
Rest in
Who
peace.
knows what's going on with CMC, man?
Yeah.
He is a huge question mark. That is so many targets.
Purdy is great. The offense is going to be great no matter how many of them get injured because they have Mac Jones back there too if they need him.
Yeah, that's right.
W. Mac Jones.
And where
Yeah,
are you getting him? I mean, if he's healthy and playing, he's going to destroy his ADP, like without a doubt. It's just if
Yeah.
he's healthy and playing,
I think this is
which
all the
is a bet
same.
you can take when you're drafting him after pick 100.
Yeah, I think it's all the same arguments we made for Kelsey. Go more for Kittle. He even did better than Kelsey, like you said last year. Um, the only thing is that he's injured to start the year. Even though he just got activated, I don't think he's going to play week 1 just because they had got to go all the way to Australia. But to me, I would take Kittle easily at pick 113. Just draft another safer tight end, such as Dallas Goedert, like we talked earlier,
Yeah,
to
him
play
and
the first
Goddard,
few weeks.
Easily.
great duo.
Switch over to Kittle, and then you're fine. You're covering your tight end spot. Should be, I would think, you can play the matchups if you really need to, but you can get that at least a top 5, top 6 producer week in and week out between those two guys.
No, I haven't been taking him over Fannin, but the more I think about it, and with this new news that he's getting activated, it's getting them real close in my mind.
Yeah.
Fannon's,
I would worry about Kittle's ADP rising too much, actually, if you haven't already drafted.
yeah,
Yep.
That's,
Yeah, that is
And
true.
so,
This
well,
news is going to
now that
raise
he's
him up.
activated, like he's probably gonna go right above Kincaid. He might go above Kyle. He's probably right in that Kraft Fannin range now. So you better grab him now before his ADP starts going up again.
would you guys take him over Fannin?
I
Yes.
would.
Me personally, I would. I'm not a
Yes.
big fan of guy. I think he goes right next to Pitts, at least for me, to start the year.
Yeah,
Yeah. I agree.
But yeah, like I said, I have no problem taking him and then taking another guy later, figuring it out.
I love it.
All right. Now I believe that was all of our guys for today. Let's just go back, quick summary of all of our running backs. We had Chase Brown, Kenneth Gainwell, J.K. Dobbins, Rico Dowdle, and Jadarian Price. And then
Give me
four.
couch photo vibes.
Was that?
You
And
know
then
the couch photo.
as well as
That is
for our tight
awesome.
ends,
Trey,
we
you should put
got
yourself on that slide right in the middle behind him.
we got Dallas Goedert, Travis Kelsey, Tyler Warren, and George Kittle. Thank you guys for joining us today. These were the running backs and tight ends that we love at the ADP. Stay tuned next time for our next video. We're going to be talking about QBs and running backs that we hate at their ADP. A little bit of a different type of video. We'll see you guys next time. Peace.
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 Spence say peace.
Deuce.